What's happening, everyone, and welcome to Super 6. We have a huge conversation to have. I need to let you know, though, make sure that you download the Super 6 app. It will not cost you a penny, and if you predict 6 Premier League scores correctly, you will win £250,000. The most important part of this is it will not cost you a penny. Crucially, as well, the winner of the club league for the season plays with us versus Pitchside. It really is huge, and if nobody wins, it will roll over to £500,000.
Yeah, you're saying, obviously, we want you to join the league. We want you to join our league. The code's Club23. But crucially, it's a rollover. £500,000. That is massive. And if there was ever a time to join Super 6, now is that time.
Exactly.
Get involved.
It will
get into our
not
league.
cost you a penny. Now, the question that I wanted to ask you both, it revolves around England, it revolves around the Euros. The draw was done the other day, and I think it was fairly kind to England. Are England going to win the Euros?
No. So should we go?
Yeah.
You are, I think, sadly correct. England are the best team going into the Euros. That's the important thing to establish. England
Best group of players.
England have the best group of players, undoubtedly. There is nothing that comes close, I don't think.
So all these things you're saying to me sound like we should be winning the Euro?
Yeah, there is one huge stumbling block.
And that is?
That is Gareth Southgate.
What?
If I look, I think
Devil's advocate, because I agree with you. He's got England to a semi-final, the final.
Yeah.
He's England's best performing manager, Rory.
He's had England's best performing group of players. Like it's not necessarily his brilliance that has made him the second best, if you want to call it that. He happens to coincide with England's crop of players. His birth coincided to be the right age when Jude Bellingham, Harry Kane, Phil Foden, Kyle Walker all happened to come to fruition.
Yeah.
You know, Roy Hodgson was very unlucky. Steve McLaren should have done better, but didn't have a great crop of players. But luck has befallen Gareth Southgate, and he has this exceptional array of talent, and England should therefore be winning the Euros. But I can honestly say that England won't. And do you know the worst thing about me saying it? Honestly, I'm that bloke. You know, with England, you know when people talk, I'm that guy. You know, I'm the bucket hat, right? This time more than any other time, singing "World in Motion," like that's. And even I'm going into this one thinking like, just feeling pretty deflated.
What is it about? Do you agree with him, by the way, B?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So what is it about Southgate that you think he can't?
He is a perennial bottler through and through, and his playing days allude to that. How can you be a player, you're taking a penalty in the quarterfinals, let's say in summer, you're looking at your guy you're wearing a waistcoat, it's 30 degrees in South Germany or whatever, and you're thinking, in the peak of your powers, the biggest moment of your career, the biggest moment of Gareth Southgate's playing career is missing a penalty for England himself. So I love what he did with the squad. I love the energy he brought around a very young group of players that were reeling from defeat to Iceland, one of the worst performances in the history of this country, period. He has brought a lot of positivity.
That's the problem, is he did a great job, but he just stayed in the job for far too long.
The only question I'd throw to you lads then, can a manager improve on the job? Because what we've said about Southgate's accurate. He's a bottler. He blew it against Mancini. He's got a lot more esteem. There must be examples out there of managers that spent 5-10 years doing something and something changed, and then they became a winning manager. Then they won the Premier League. Then they won the FA Cup. You know, maybe Southgate can change going into the final tournament.
You shouldn't be learning on the job.
Yeah, but you have to. You have to manage football. You have to become a better manager. Can you become a better manager, I'm saying?
No, but when you get the job, the England job, one of the most prestigious jobs in world football, it's like getting the Man United job. You're not learning on the job at Man United.
No, it shouldn't be that way, but it is.
You're not
He's
learning on the job at England. You come into England as an expert.
Yeah.
You've proved yourself, and then you get the job.
You know, I think that way, but I'm just trying to question, by Euro 2024, his fourth tournament, it's a lot of consistency.
There is a chance.
Will there be that 5% change in his game where he brings on Marcus Rashford earlier, for example?
Okay, the thing that I find with Gareth Southgate, and my emotions aren't as in international footballers, you guys, right, is like, he's good enough to beat the teams that are in our group, Denmark, Slovenia, Serbia, etc. Because those teams, no matter what 11 players England put out, as long as you put them in a decent formation, they're going to beat most of those level of teams anyway.
Mate, some of those teams won't want to beat
They could have
England.
me and Rory in the dugout.
Some of those teams will be lining up. When England go to these tournaments, quite often you face a team in the group that are only hoping to get a draw against you. So it's very, like, you know, when people go, well, England have dominated their group. Yeah, of course they have. Because the vast majority of teams that we play in these situations...
I'd push back on that, though. That is my one thing about the Southgate slander, because England have gotten to group stages of tournaments and traditionally struggled. We struggled in 2010. I know it's a way worse group of players.
Has he ever tactically...
We came second in 2010, and it gave us Germany round of 16.
We shouldn't.
What's that?
Has he ever tactically or just dominated a game that we should.
Never.
He matched
That we
Germany.
shouldn't.
He matched Germany.
Never.
There's a couple of examples.
Never.
There
We're
are
a better
couple.
team than Germany. Though.
Look,
We
as soon as we
beat
came
Spain
up
in the
against a
Nations
half
League.
We were at
decent
home at
Italy
Germany.
team.
No, you know,
Hang on,
I agree.
hang on,
You know, I
if
agree.
we're bringing up the Nations League, we got relegated in the Nations League. We swapped places with Scotland. We lost the Nations League. Do you remember when we played the Dutch?
We can all not like Southgate. We can admit that he's had some good games as manager, not defining games to win us a trophy like we all believe he should do. Croatia is an example. France last in the World Cup. He had a good game against Lowe, a very experienced World Cup winning manager. Matched him up with a back three, matched him man for man, beat him at Wembley. I know the Wembley factor was huge, but that's still a result for Southgate. Of course it is.
Yeah.
Colombia was big. Showed a lot of mentality.
we
That
should
was the
be
first
beating
time
Colombia,
England had
bro.
won
We beat them
in
on
penalties for the
We should
first
be
time
beating
ever in
Colombia.
English history.
Should have beat Colombia in 90 minutes. Bro.
Yeah, of course. But those games are hard. They're
What I would
really
say
hard.
is there is one way that England win a tournament, and that is we have seen examples of teams win in spite of a manager. Generally, teams win because of a manager. Man City won a treble because of their manager. Manchester United won a treble because of their manager. However, Chelsea won a Champions League. I love Di Matteo, but I think some may argue that Chelsea won a Champions League and an FA Cup that season, our most successful ever season, in fact. Some would argue that was in spite of our manager. So Di Matteo happened to land on a crop of players that were determined, were driven, knew their role, knew their responsibility, and almost took the mantle on themselves. So our spine of Cech, Terry, Lampard, Drogba decided...
Got them through the game.
Yeah,
And when there are injuries or sending off.
Ashley Cole on one side, John Obi Mikel in the middle. They basically went, look, Di Matteo's a manager, but lads,
Just get through the game.
do this.
And he had a very good role in terms of just putting the right player in the right position.
Exactly.
And Southgate should be doing that. His issue might be the riches that he's got in terms of he's got to develop a Madison, Bellingham, Rice
And that's what he
midfield.
can't do. That's what
It's almost too much.
it's almost too, yeah.
World Cup 2018, he had to play Harry Maguire. He's the only centre back we had. It was fit. Ashley Young.
No,
was
I
playing left wing back.
I think that's a nail on the head, you know. You can be, he'd been too blessed. He has absolutely no idea what to do with a player like Phil Foden. You know, this masterful, mercurial talent.
No idea.
He's like, "F- me. He's like, dear Lord, I do not know what to do with. I do not know what to do with this. Like, he would be better off if it wasn't Phil Foden, it was Jordan Henderson, because he knows what to do with Jordan Henderson.
Yeah.
He would be better off. Like,
Harry Kane by himself, 5 midfielders behind him.
he's more likely to want. This isn't me. It's in my opinion, but he would prefer a situation where Conor Gallagher makes himself undroppable to England because he knows how to play a Conor Gallagher or a Mason Mount. He doesn't want to deal with, hang on a minute, how on earth do I get James Maddison and Phil Foden in the team? Another manager, a more forward-thinking, exciting, progressive manager, I don't know. You give Luis Enrique, James Maddison, you give Luis Enrique, Phil Foden, you give Luis Enrique, Jude Bellingham,
Got
and Harry Kane
Diamond
in
going.
the same team, you'd have a diamond.
Look
You'd
at
have,
Ancelotti doing that with Bellingham.
yeah, you'd have it all sorts.
Beautiful.
Whereas Steve Holland and Gareth Southgate are going, nah, let's just not play Maddison. Let's not play Maddison at all. He's not involved. Phil Foden can be on the bench, and if we're losing 2-1 to the Spanish on the 70th minute, we'll chuck Phil Foden on and hope for the best. And basically, I think the only way that we win it is if it just goes our way and they ignore their manager.
Yeah, we won't win it.
We basically got forced into playing Grealish that time as well.
Got
didn't he?
bullied into
Yeah,
playing
it was
Grealish,
really
and he didn't want to.
Yeah, I don't think England will win the tournament. Who do you think will win the tournament then?
It's difficult to look beyond the French, isn't it? But then I think Germany, I know Germany are all over the place at home and everybody's saying they're useless and whatever else. But Germany at home, I'm sorry, like Germany at home is a significant side and a very difficult team to beat. Do you remember when we went into the World Cup in Korea, Japan? Korea, Japan. And everybody was going, Germany are useless. They got to the final, man. In fact, isn't that the World Cup
That was the
Beckham...
Brazil-Germany one.
No, isn't the...
Final.
Yeah. Isn't that the World Cup where we played... When Beckham scored the free kick
1-0 against
yeah.
Argentina and that. Yeah.
Beckham scored the
play
free
Germany
kick.
in that
Beckham scored the free kick against Greece
Then we
to
qualified.
knock Germany
And
out.
then he scored against Argentina in the group stages.
Yeah.
The red shirt, the penalty.
Yes, and we won 5-1 in. We won 5-1 in.
Yeah.
5-1 was...
We won 5-1, which almost did us a disservice. So we battered them 5-1. We were like, they're no good.
Yeah.
They're no good.
Emil Heskey went in.
They get to the final and we go out in the quarters. Never look beyond Germany.
I think they're favourites, yeah. Got Nagelsmann.
Is can you find any... Pretend Gareth Southgate gets to a final and gets beat. can that be can we constitute that as success?
That's the minimum.
Yeah, because ultimately
that's
it's a cup competition, and so anything can happen. Obviously, it depends on how the game goes.
So semi-final is.
I'd rather we not get out of the group than get to the quarters. That's for sure. Semi-final is progress and experience for a load of young players, Jude Bellingham in particular, for the next manager.
Is this the end of the
Quarters,
road for Southgate?
please.
This tournament.
Yeah, I mean, we can't. We have to let him go, which is like a remix of
The weird thing sounds like he's getting the decision, right? Like I think
it's a coming together. I think there is an unofficial agreement that this is his last tournament. I mean, it should have been his last tournament 2 tournaments ago, but I think it will actually be his last tournament now. Who do you think they go for? Eddie Howe?
Does anyone think they win it? Let us know in the comments.
No one
Do you think England will win
nobody thinks.
And make sure you're checking out Super 6. Download the app and join our league, Club 23.